Morning, guys. Welcome to your assembly for today. Now, our theme for assemblies this week is to do with looking after our mental health and seeing if we can stay feeling okay. And I say okay because that's really important. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're just kind of content and chilled, sometimes we're grumpy, sometimes we're worried. And all of those things are absolutely okay because they don't stay the same. We'll be happy for a bit, and then we might change and we might feel a little bit calm, or we might be worried about the next thing. But so long as those things change and there's a balance of emotions throughout the day, then you're all okay. Can't be happy and feeling amazing and 100% all of the time. We'd be worn out. So our emotions change throughout the day, and we can do something about that. If you're worried about something, you can do something about it. You can see what you're worried about and you can talk to an adult. Okay, tell your partner which adult you would talk to if you've got a worry about something at home. Okay, brilliant. Which adult would you talk to if you've got a worry about something in school? Tell your partner. Okay, and actually talking about that helps you to feel better. And that's the key thing, is that we can always do something to make ourselves feel a little bit better or to change the mood that we're in. So I woke up this morning and I was feeling a little bit grumpy because it was cold and I hadn't put the heating on. And I decided I needed to change my mood. So there was really good music on the radio and I sang along. And I had lemon curd on toast for breakfast, which I really, really like. Lemon curd on toast, best breakfast. And I looked out into the garden and saw how sunny it was and what a lovely day it was. And instead of feeling grumpy, I began to feel happy. So I changed my mood. I did something about it. And the first thing to do is to notice, rather than just shouting at people or getting cross or feeling fed up, think about, what mood am I in now? Ooh, I'm feeling a bit cross. What can I do? Rather than reacting. So we notice the mood that we're in. Now, I'm going to share with you a book that you've seen before, but it's a really, really good book. And like I keep saying, one of the best bits about my job is reading you guys' stories. And this one is absolutely gorgeous. So let's share my screen. Which one? This one. Here we go. Okay, how full is your bucket? Okay. And let's have a look at the front cover. How full is your bucket? The idea that we all have a bucket, and your bucket is to do with your feelings, your emotions, and we can have an empty bucket and feel a bit fed up, feel a bit glum, or we can have a full bucket and feel really, really happy, and we can make a decision about how full we want our buckets to be. So let's have a read of this story. How full is your bucket? Felix was putting one of the last blocks on his tower when his little sister came in. I want to build with you, she said. Felix scowled. Go away, you're too little. I'm big. Stay back, you'll knock it over. I can be very careful. Go play with your baby toys, Anna. And then Anna's feeling really cross towards Felix and knocks them over deliberately. And I'm sure you've all been in that sort of situation at home. Grandpa! Grandpa shook his head. Felix, you just dipped from your sister's bucket. Like everyone else, Anna has an invisible bucket. When it's empty, she feels bad. But when it's full, she feels great. Didn't you ever notice your own bucket? Invisible bucket? Sometimes Felix couldn't quite tell when his grandfather was joking. An invisible bucket, what a strange thing. But the next morning when Felix woke up, there it was. A small grey bucket floating above his head. There you go. You can see it there. When Felix came down to have breakfast, his mum was in a hurry. I've got a meeting this morning. It's almost time to go. Oh, Anna, sit still. Felix slipped and Choco Wheat scattered across the floor. Felix, yelled his mum, you should have used a stool to reach that. Felix could feel his bucket tip and big invisible drips spill out. Drip, drip. Ha ha! Anna laughed as she crunched the cereal with a shoe. Drip. Get the broom and clean that up before you miss the bus, scolded Mum. And with the school bus honking, Felix quickly swept up the choco wheats and grabbed the last blueberry muffin. But before he could even take one bite, Buster jumped up and grabbed the muffin from his hand. Drip. Hey, look at Felix's new backpack. My baby brother's got one just like it. Drip. Psst, Felix. They're whispering about him. Drip. Watch out, shrimp, says a bigger boy. Drip. And with all of these things that happen, Felix's bucket is emptying, is getting more and more empty. So how is Felix feeling with all of these bad things that are happening? All of these things that he doesn't like? And we talk about how our bucket has been emptied. It was still morning, and Felix's bucket felt almost empty. Felix isn't having a good day, is he? And that's what happens when you don't have a good day. You can say your bucket is empty. And that's what I said at the start of this, is that you can just carry on having a big strop, having a sulk, and we've all done that. But what do we do to fill the bucket back up? And notice that we need to fill the bucket up. As he watched his classmates walk into the room, he secretly hoped they'd trip and fall. And that's what it feels like when you have an empty bucket. You actually want bad things to happen to other people because you're so grumpy. Felix slumped into his seat and waited for something else bad to happen. Mrs. Bumblenickel walked slowly up to his desk and handed him a paper. He could hardly bear to look. Felix, you wrote a wonderful story. Well, Felix grinned and felt a big drop land in his bucket. Drop. Because somebody said something good, so he started to feel good, which filled his bucket. Drop, drop, plink, plink. The Gigantosaurus Who Wanted a Pet by me, Felix. The class grew quiet. They laughed at all the right places and oohed at the scary parts. When Felix finally read the end, everyone clapped. Even Emily, who sat next to him and didn't usually like dinosaurs. Felix felt a whole shower of drops land in his bucket. Maybe the day wouldn't be so bad, after all. Here we go. Drop. He's found a note from Mum saying, love you, in with his lunch. Team captains today are Veronica and Felix. Drop. Ooh, nice cow. It's a dog. Well, nice colours there, Felix. Drop. Cool laser ant backpack, Felix. Drop. And as all these people are saying nice things to him, Felix starts to feel better. By afternoon, Felix's bucket was nearly full. And at recess, when he looked around, Felix suddenly realised his grandpa was right. Everyone else had a bucket too. Have a look at all of these people. Can you spot somebody with a very empty bucket? Who's got a very empty bucket? I think, look at this poor teacher. What's happened to make his bucket empty? He's dropped all of his papers, hasn't he? What about this person here sitting on the bench? He's got a very empty bucket. Why is his bucket empty? He sat on his own. So what could happen to fill his bucket? If he was at Wincham and he was sitting there on his own and he got that empty bucket, what would you do? I think there's a lot of people here who just go up and say, "Oi, come on, come join in our game. Come and play with us." And Felix started to help these other people. "Let me help you," he said to the teacher. "Here's your baseball, catch." "Oh, thanks, dude." Drop, drop. "Hi, I'm Felix. First day?" "Yes, I'm Amir." Drop, drop. Now, the strange thing was that for every drop he helped put in someone else's bucket, he felt another drop in his own bucket. So when you do something for other people, you start to feel good. When Felix burst in the door after school, he shouted, "You were right, Grandpa. I do have a bucket and I understand how it works." Then he saw Anna's torn doll. "Bad dog," he almost scolded. But then he thought, dogs might have invisible buckets too. "Your doll will be okay, Anna," said Felix. "Mum will fix her. Until then, do you want to help me build the tallest building in the world with my blocks?" And so they did. And Anna and Felix's buckets began to fill up. There we go. I love that story. It's really good. Everyone has their own invisible bucket. And helping other people can fill your bucket, and it can fill someone else's. And I know I've said this before in assemblies, but being on the playground in the morning, saying good morning to you guys, I really enjoy doing that. I really enjoy seeing you all in the morning. And it fills my bucket to see you guys and to talk to you when you come into school in the morning. It's really, really nice. And I think that all of your teachers could say to you, there are things in school that fill their buckets up. Things that you can do, things that they enjoy doing with you. It might be a teacher's favorite subject or lesson to teach. It might be something that they really enjoy doing. It might be sharing a story or, I don't know, singing in class that fills their buckets up. But also, we've got things that fill our buckets outside of school as well. Things that we can do to fill our own buckets. Now, these things that I've just given examples of, they're things that we do with you guys. We help you in school. Teachers, adults in school help you. That fills our buckets up. And when we help you, we show kindness to you, we show empathy to you, it makes you feel better as well. But there's things that we can do as well that fill our own buckets that are nothing to do with other people. So one of the things is, and we've done this recently before, is to think of things that we are happy about, things that are really good in our lives. So I want you to have a list of 3 things in your head. You can share them with a friend if you want to, but you don't have to. You can share them with a class if you want to, but you don't have to. So here are my 3 things that I am really, really grateful for. And I hadn't planned this, so I'm just kind of making this up off the top of my head as I go, so that you know it's not like something I've prepared and planned for you. There was music on the radio when I was driving into school that was from 1992. And in 1992, I was 17. And I remember all the songs now. I can sing along. And there's music from 1992 on the radio right the way through today. So I'm going to listen to that in my office. And if you come up to my office today, you might hear me singing while I'm working. I've got so that's one. I've got a meeting after school, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be really, really interesting, and it's going to be dead difficult, but we like hard stuff at Wincham. I've talked to so many people who like hard activities like a challenge, and it's going to make my brain stretch. It's going to make me think. So that's 2. I'm really looking forward to that meeting after school. And let's think, 3. It rained all day yesterday. Absolutely chucked it down. And my garden was being really well watered. My ponds were filled up. And it was then a really nice day when I got up this morning. It's really beautiful and sunny. And I can look out of the window and think, do you know what? This is really, really lovely. I like that. So we've got a nice place to be. Okay, there you go. 3 things. Then you got 4. Can't count. 3 things that have filled my bucket that I've just noticed. And noticing is really important. So share yours or think about yours. If you want to share them, you can. Okay, homework for every single person. I bet you can guess what it is as well. I want you to see if you can fill somebody's bucket up. And when you see me around school, might be on the playground in the morning, might be at playtime or lunchtime, I want you to tell me how you have filled somebody's bucket. Might be your friend, might be somebody at home, might be your teacher. How have you filled somebody's bucket? Have a lovely day, guys. Bye-bye.